Hey, I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and please hit like. This is a balance staff for a pocket watch, and these are the upper, and lower jewel settings. This is where the balance cock would rest. In the pocket watch I've made, all the parts have not been fitted on. But what I need to do is make sure the balance staff length is absolutely perfect to fit into the jewel holes here and rest against the end stones of these jewels without too much end shake. I do have the roller table, but I have not. This is the roller table right here, and I have not fitted the roller table on. But when I push this roller table up, there's going to be a little bit of a gap because it's only going to go to here, and that little gap that I have will lower the jewel. And what I want to do is trial fit the roller table, assume the gap, and determine where the pallet fork hits. So the pallet fork will be like this, and then it'll have a safety dart that goes out like that. And this roller table has a double roller safety on the bottom here, and this dart has got to, or guard pin either, or has got to merge perfectly with the little small bottom part of this roller table. So I'll fit that to see, and what I want to do is see whether I have to remove material from the bottom pivot or upper pivot. Because if I remove the material from the upper pivot and everything down here is fine, no issue. If I remove it from the bottom pivot and this jewel here, let me circle this here, this jewel lowers too much, the roller table would lower, and the jewel could hit the bottom of the dart, which would make the whole system not operate. So here's a picture of the complete balance staff balance and the balance cock on the top here. So this would be the balance cock on the top. Let me just have a look at this here. This is the balance cock on the top here, and this is the balance right there. And the system I'm trying to make sure that's correct is right down here. So I want to make sure that that's absolutely accurate. And I'm going to just pick a different pen here. So right here where it says B, that's where the merge is between the pallet fork and the roller table, right in here. So that merge has to be absolutely perfect, or the marrying of the two. And the issue I have, or may have, is that I cannot punch the roller table on all the way up at this point, because I have to probably remove material from both the bottom and the top of the balance staff. And if I have to do that, then I can't access the bottom. I likely can't access the bottom to trim it down. I'll have to check. So what I have to do is trial fit. I have to trial fit the roller table on, and there's going to be a gap. And let me just show you what I mean here is right. This will go up only to a certain point, like there, and this will leave a gap right here, and that gap will effectively lower the roller table. So I can't actually trial fit the roller table with that gap on there. I can assume the gap, I can measure the gap, I can put the roller table next to it but not on it, or I can measure, I can see how much real estate I have on the bottom of that. Let me just look down here, see how much real estate I have in the bottom of the balance staff to allow me to move it up, allow me to trim it back, because I'd want to take the balance staff that's here, trim it back a little bit, so it would go from being a balance staff that looks like this to a balance staff that looks like this. and I'd have to trim it back by this amount right here, right there. So that's very tricky. So likely that's my next job, is to actually see whether this whole system here fits, like actually works with that roller table, and the pallet fork and the guard pin. So the critical part too is that you don't want the impulse jewel that's here to be too low when it drops down in this direction. And if it's too low, then the impulse jewel won't interact with the pallet fork properly right here, and you've got a problem. And the other thing is that the guard pin that's right here, right, won't touch the safety roller here, and then you've got another problem. So I welcome all comments on how to do this trial fit. I want to make sure that this is absolutely perfect length, and that it goes through the jewel holes, and that the tips of the pivot are touching the end stones here. So if they're not touching the end stones, then the cone part of the balance staff will be touching the jewel, and that'll slow it down. So you want the tips to be touching the end stones, so, or the cap jewel, I'll say, to make sure it's perfectly fit. So I have no issue trial fitting the balance, because it's going to be riveted on later, and I can take it off without a big problem. It's sort of snugged on right now, but it's not tight, so I can put that on. But again, my problem is, how do I do this without putting the roller table on? All suggestions are welcome. I'll ask for help, and thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel, and please hit like. JD here.